Susan woke up to an eerie silence that morning. Her husband sighted the bed cold and empty. She brushed off the initial unease, thinking he had left early for work. But when she noticed Emily's room was also vacant, her heart began to race. Susan texted John first, then Emily, her messages growing more frantic with each passing minute of silence. She tried calling, the ringing on the other end only adding to her dread. Hours turned into days, and despite her desperate attempts to reach them, there was no response. The house felt hollow, each unanswered call echoing her growing fear. On the third day, with no word from either of them, Susan's worst fears began to solidify, and she went to the police, reporting her husband and daughter missing. Later that week, a cashier at a remote gas station was in the middle of a slow shift when a man and a young woman walked in. At first glance, they didn't raise any alarms, but as they moved through the store, something about them seemed off. The girl looked underage, while the man was clearly much older, old enough to be her father. Yet the way they were hugging and holding hands didn't feel like a typical father and daughter bond. It was more intimate, almost unsettling. The cashier felt a knot form in his stomach as he watched them, a flicker of recognition sparking in his mind from the missing person reports he'd seen on the news. But then he second-guessed himself, thinking maybe he was just reading too much into it. They seemed calm, not like they were in any trouble, so he didn't say anything. After they left though, the unease wouldn't go away. Worried he might have overlooked something important, he checked the security footage. The more he watched, the more certain he became that something was very wrong. Finally, unable to shake the feeling, he called the police, explaining what he'd seen and why he hadn't spoken up sooner. The detectives arrived at the gas station, eager to review the footage flagged by the concerned cashier. As they watched the video, it became clear that something was deeply wrong. John and Emily's interactions were far too intimate for a father and daughter, and the age difference made the situation even more unsettling. With the disturbing evidence in hand, the detectives speculated that John and Emily might be hiding out in a nearby hotel. As they questioned the cashier further, he suddenly remembered overhearing something that made his stomach drop, a brief mention of needing to check into the room. While John and Emily were browsing the aisles, it wasn't much, but it was enough to give the detectives a starting point. Armed with this new clue, they began searching local hotels, hoping to find the pair. Their persistence paid off when the hotel manager recognized the descriptions from the missing persons reports. The manager confirmed that a man and young woman matching their descriptions had recently checked in under poorly chosen fake names. The detectives hurried to the room, their hearts racing as they prepared for the confrontation. When they opened the door, they were met with the sight of John and Emily in laughable bad disguises. Emily wearing a wig that barely covered her hair, and John sporting a fake mustache that was already peeling off. The disguises were so ineffective that their identities were instantly clear. As the detectives searched the room, they uncovered a notebook filled with chilling plans, meticulously detailed steps outlining a horrific plot to exile Susan, John's wife and Emily's mother. The discovery sent shivers down their spines, revealing just how far John and Emily had gone in their twisted, unnatural bond. The detectives had finally cornered them, putting an end to the disturbing scheme and exposing the dark truth behind their disappearance.